Hello, hello. I'm Miss Emma. Right now, if you're anything like me, ADHD brain, whatever, you might sometimes go to the end of the movie or the end of the series because you want to know what happens, because then you can relax because you know what's going to happen. So then you can watch the series. Perhaps that means nothing to you and you're thinking, that sounds a bit weird. But the reason I'm saying it is because you might be somebody who thinks, I can see a page with lots of different things for training, whatever. Just tell me what to do. I don't care about why or what happens with the brain or why that works, whatever else. Just tell me what to do. So if that is you, this is why I've put this video at the top of the page. So this video is for you that wants to know straight away, how can I make sure my child can read quickly and easily and enjoy reading? So before I start, and I'm going to keep this as quick as possible because if you're that kind of a person like me, you also want a short explanation. So before I start, you will see duck hands. Please, it's free. You've got a hand. Please just trust me. It is one of the most powerful things for the brain, especially if you have a child who has an at-risk brain, who is at risk of struggling, and that's because they're going to struggle with speech sound mapping. So they're going to struggle with a word like ship to hear those sounds, ship, ship. You know there are 4 letters, but there are 3 sounds, so the 3 pitches of the sounds, which are called graphemes. If you go to the language of word mapping, you'll see all the different phrases I use when I'm talking about speech sound picks and duck hands and all sorts. So you can go there and have a look. But duck hands means the sounds from left to right in a blend. Ship, ship. Doesn't matter how old the child is, whatever. I do this with teachers as well, because people can often fake not being able to hear the right sounds, especially if they're feeling a little bit, not very confident, whatever, by doing that. And that's why a lot of children who struggled at a sort of 8, 9, 10, when you first start doing duck hands, they do not want to do it. And they might say, oh, it feels like it's babyish, whatever the excuse would be. It's not about that at all. It's about the fact that I've actually got to show you that I'm really not confident when you're asking me to give you the sounds, whatever. I'm really not confident on what they are and where they sit. And by making me do this, you're making me commit, commit to the sounds. So kind of just understand that they're going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but you will be able to see how they're segmenting the words, and their brain will soon go, oh, that's what we're doing. And also because if they've been struggling, often what's happened before is they're expected to understand so much and demonstrate it. I don't take that approach. I take the approach of let's just assume they don't know anything and let's show them everything. So when you hear about the code overlay, it's because I'm saying let's not assume they can decode that or they know this information or they've got good working memory or whatever else. Let's show the code. And if they do know that, go, oh, I already knew that. And if they didn't, they'll think, oh, thank goodness for that, because I haven't got to figure out what the sounds were and what the pitches of the sounds, the graphemes are for that word. So my approach is, let's assume everybody needs lots and lots of help, because the children who need it will go, yay. The children who don't need it will go, oh, aren't I clever? That's my approach anyway. So duck hands, really, really important. Please do that. Duck hand all over the time. And you'll also realize that you'll start to go, oh, I don't know actually what are the sounds. The basic way to do it, and that's what this sort of training is all about, really. When you're doing duck hands, just say to the child, let's just do duck hands on the way we say it. And then let's check on the king, because anything you see that's pre-mapped is the way the speech sound king. Oh, I've got a speech sound frog here who's very naughty. He goes around and chews changes the sound picks and eats the punctuation, whatever else. So he's rather funny when we've got to check our, for froggy errors. But I've got a speech sound king who speaks in this particular accent. And what we say to the children is the written code is actually to represent the way the speech sound king speaks. And that's what happens in euphonics. But we might not speak like that. So let's think of it as 2 different things. Let's think, what are the sounds we use? So for example, you might go car, core, core. Put a Scottish accent. Core, a core, or 3 sounds, or. So you would just, don't worry about your phonics. Your brain's probably going, what, whatever. When you're doing duck hands, just say to the child, what sounds can we hear? Or another child might go car. The king says car. So the sounds would be car. But if you say car, then the child is going to go, but I can't hear the sounds because I don't say that. So have those 2 things. So duck hands can be, what's my accent? What's your accent, the sound, and what's the Speech Sound King's accent? And we kind of just talk about it. Let go of this right, wrong, whatever else. All we're doing, bottom line, is connecting the speech sounds we use with the print. Now, a child who doesn't, who learns to read and spell with no instruction, like me at 3, so desperate to read Edie Blyton, that I had all the bits needed that we know are needed for a child to be able to start self-teaching. And so it happened. So I had no instruction. So nobody was teaching me phonics and whatever. So what happened with me? I mapped the speech sounds I heard with my accent and my family's, because we speak the same way. I heard those sounds and mapped them to the graphemes. So when people are connecting, which is what you teach in phonics, connecting speech sounds and the representations on paper, the children who don't have instruction or only need a little bit instruction naturally do it in the way, because when we're reading in our accent. When we're spelling in our accent. When we're not sure of how to decode a word, we do tend to revert to the kind of phonics. It's really quite fascinating, but anyway, you don't want to hear about that. You want to rush to the end. So when you're doing duck hands, if you're not sure, you don't have to know. But because you're going to start very quickly on the 1, 2, 3 and away, the mapped 1, 2, 3 and away books, that will tell you the sounds, even if at the end of it, when you've blended the sounds together, you go, I don't think I say it like that. And that's absolutely fine. It will give you the code and you can talk about it. Talking about it is brilliant. So anyway, the reason that we're going to do this is because, let me show you. So here are the correspondences that any child in England will cover and be tested on at the end of year 1. It should not take 2 years for all of this, but it's the way that the phonics is taught, whole class, whatever. And it's difficult. Teachers got to manage like 25 odd children, but I couldn't launch the speech sound picks approach in England because we don't do it like that. It's self-paced, and that's not what synthetic phonics does. So although the aims are the same, is that we're helping children to be able to recognize these graphemes and their high frequency correspond sounds, and to use them. It's whole class teaching, whereas the speech sound picks approach is about a little bit of the whole class together with phase 1 with the speech sound play, but then very quickly children work through at their own pace. So a child who needs lots of time here might be at risk of dyslexia and needs lots of times, lots of scaffolding because they haven't got this, they can't hear the sounds, whatever else, and so they need more time, because if you can't hear the sounds, putting the sounds that you can't hear together with the graphemes is really, really hard. So they're going to need more time. Where the child that comes in has got really good phonemic awareness, can hear the sound straight away, duck handing within a few days of just about every word, they are going to whiz through because they haven't got that effort put into it. And it's nothing to do with intelligence. And they can be non-speaking, don't even have to be able to speak. So the child who needs to stay there a little bit longer, they get all the time and the support they need. The child who can whizzes and doesn't have to wait for the other children. So every child is always working just above their level, so that it's achievable but challenging. So this is why am I showing you this? It's because once it's upside down, sorry. So once the children know these graphemes, the green and the purple code level, that's when you start your 1, 2, 3 and away books. You can carry on with this. Do carry on with this. So your one path is this, that we're going to have our systematic, these are the high frequency graphemes that are going to help you. So if you come to any words that you're not sure of, you'll use this set whilst you're working it out. And if I was to show you a word, GALLIMAUFRY, you would go through it and you would use these correspondences, not weird correspondence. No, I don't mean weird, but you would use the high frequency correspondences, try and figure it out to think, do I know that word? Does that trigger anything? These are just a kickstart. So really, when we're starting off here, it's not really because we're going, oh, if the children know that an S represents S and an A represents A and what have you, if they know that, they're going to be able to decode lots and lots of different words. No, they're not. What we're doing is we're saying to the children, if you can look at a grapheme and know a sound, and even in just these 6, we can build lots and lots of different words, because it's about the process, not about the graphemes. So it's about, so then new concepts are introduced, like 2 L's together. We don't go hill or l, we go hill. Oh, look at that. So it'll 3 sounds, 4 letters, the 2 letters go, 2 L's go together. That's a concept. Or we'll suddenly see that we had s there with an S, And then all of a sudden we've got a C here that represents like in cat, but it also represents like if you've got 50-cent piece or whatever. So as we move through it, so we've got nice and simple, straightforward here. Well, as straightforward as it can be. It's still going to be really hard if you've got difficulties hearing the sounds, whatever. Then we go to this bit where we're having new different concepts, and then we're adding more concept and more concepts. So by the time they get to here, they've been introduced to a lot of concepts, but in a scaffolded, schema-driven kind of way. So we're always building on what they already know on their prior knowledge. But the brilliant thing that I have found is that when they get to here, you can start them on the 1, 2, 3 and away books, because whilst you've been doing this, you're also making sure the children know all of the monster sounds. And so because they're learning the monster sounds, you can just do the 2-minute video every day, but they're playing on the monster spelling piano app and, you know, what have you. But as soon as they know all the monsters, just they can look at any text that we have put the code overlay on. So the code overlay just means that we've shown words, which I'll show in a second. We've shown words to show which letters are together as the graphemes, and the phonemes just show the sound value. Easy. Any word at all, any high frequency word, any word they've never heard of, whatever else. It just means they can look at it, follow the monster sound, say the word, and then they go, what does that mean? So we add that in. So we've got the speech sounds, we've got the spelling, they're the graphemes that go, you know, the pictures of the sound, and the meaning. We bond it together in the orthographic lexicon in your brain's word bank, and Bob's your uncle. If the child's got good phonemic awareness, they only have to see it once and it stores. If they don't have good phonemic awareness, so if you want to be doubly sure, do the spelling routine, the spellingroutine.com, do the spelling routine with that particular word to make sure it stores. So it's the mapped word, we draw to store. So they look at the visual prompt and think of what it is, what it means. And then we do the spelling routine, and ideally with the phonemes, with the speech sound monsters, because it just really makes sure that speech sound part is really secure. So we're going to start off with, on the one hand, learn the monsters. You've got 2-minute monster video. You've got, you know, monster cards. You've got all sorts of different ways of doing it. Show monstered words all over the place, and the children don't have to look at the letters. They can just follow the monster sounds and say the word. So if they're not sure, you know, if you've got a picture of, if you've got a word bath on the side of the bath, and you would say bath if you say bath, if you say, if you would put bath if you say bath, if you say bath, you'd have a different monster in the middle, wouldn't you? So use map and drag, use the tech to print off however you say it, put it on the side of the bath. You might have to laminate it. But it means that when the child goes to have a bath, they'll follow the monster sounds to say the word. And if they come to the first one and go, I can't remember what that monster is, then they use the tech, use the monster spelling piano app, which you're going to be using all the time. Let me open it up. So you would go to the phonemes screen, and they'll look at it and they'll go, oh, I can't remember, what was that monster? Buh. Oh, arth. Even if they don't know any of them, they can click it and go arth, and then it's practicing that phonemic awareness to blend it together. Arth, bath, and it's next to the bath, so it's like your visual prompt, isn't it? It's like you don't have to draw it to store it, because it's there. So have lots of words all over the place. Do not worry about the graphemes. Do not worry about anything at all. Just have any words that are relevant. So words that are relevant, because the goal is we're getting them to recognize those monster sounds and to be able to blend as early as possible using the duck hands. So once they have recognized, once they can do this in the spelling piano app, you're going to start the 1, 2, 3 and away readers, because again, they're used to when it goes Roger, and if they look at it and they go, I can't remember what that monster sound is, they click it to check. What's the word? Roger. It's Roger. Here is. So it doesn't matter if they don't know any of the graphemes in Roger. Here is Roger. Roger has a red hat, whatever. It doesn't matter, because they can look at the monsters, follow the monster sounds, then look at the graphemes.
Red ball.
Well done. Well done, Anne. Get that one sometimes, don't we?
Red.
What you're going to find is that because you've got that code overlay, because the brain understands what it's doing, because the stories are so lovely and the children love, and you know, when I'm in the center, I'm playing with the story people, and we're bringing to life, and we're acting, and you know, whatever. Doesn't matter if you don't have that, but because they are stories and because they're repetitive. So once you've got over the Roger, you know, Roger, here is Roger Red Hat or whatever. When you come to the Billy Blue Hat one and it goes, Billy, here is Billy. Billy has a blue hat. It was the same as Roger. Here is Roger. Roger has a red hat. So the brain goes, oh, I know this. So when we've got Jennifer, here is Jennifer. Jennifer has a yellow hat. The brain knows what to expect, but the information is there. So there's no memorizing, guessing, whatever else. We're getting them to predict and enjoy, and their brains enjoy the fact that they can do it, but the mapping is there. So for the first 50 books, you've actually got the regular text. So some children, they'll go, I don't need it, I can do it. But they might be memorizing, in which case you will go, you know that word Roger, can you just play it on the my speaky just so that I can check? And check, they do go Roger. That they have heard the sounds. They haven't just memorized that whole word, that they do understand the sounds and whatever in the mapping. So always check, do they know the speech sounds? Duck hands. Do they know the sound picks, the spelling, and in that word? And do they know the meaning? But you've got the non-mapped book. You've got the book that has black, grey to show which are the graphemes, the pictures of sounds. And then you've also got a third version that's got all of it. So some children are going to go, no, I need the one with all of it. I want to see the monster. So if I'm not sure of the sound for that sound pick, then I can check it. Whatever the child needs, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be easy as the monsters, and whatever. It doesn't matter. And children will understand that you've taken information away. So technically it must be harder or whatever else. But anyway, so also, the 1 to 3 and away book, the reason that we're doing that is because here we're learning these with the Monster Spelling Piano app. So the Monster Spelling Piano app, it's really quick and easy. If I was in the classroom, we're doing all sorts of stuff. But if you're at home or you've got a child that you're not overly worried about, they can hear the sound. If a child can duck hand words, I'm not worried about them. So on the Monster Spelling Piano app, you've got your phonics here. So you start off on your green code level. Nan. So it'll show you the graphemes, or you can toggle it. Okay, I'm not doing this back to front. Or toggle it and just do it with the monsters. But you're going to practice basically the green code level, those monster sounds, or the graphemes, practicing lots and lots, over 25 words. So again, here's the visual prompt that makes the child think. When they hear Nan, they'll think of that visual prompt. So once you've gone through to the end of the purple code level, start on your 1 to 3 and away books. Carry on so that they're recognizing those graphemes. And if you go to speechsoundpics.com, I've put loads of stuff that there's for free that I use in classrooms, but help yourself, please. In here as well, you've got your high frequency words, but we want to get them onto the 1, 2, 3 and away books because the repetitiveness, because the children enjoy them, they feel like they're reading, because they've got real little books. Order the hard copy book from your local library so that you can have the hard copy books at home as well, or ask your school to get them, whatever. The last thing I'm going to say before, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start having videos where I'm showing you reading the books and going through and whatever. But to summarize, Spelling Piano app, learn the monsters, get them up to the end of the purple code level. That's on your Monster Spelling Piano app. Start on your 1 to 3 and away books, pre-readers. So pre-reader 1, which is called Red. And go through 1 to 12, 1A to 12A, 12A. 1B to 12B. So you've got 36 books there that are called pre-readers before you start on your introductory books, Roger Red Hat, and there's 16 of those. So you've got 16 and 32. good maths. Then you go on to your blue books, which I'm mapping. Am I mapping? To be honest, though, at the end of the introductory books, the children don't need the mapped versions because they're reading, they're self-teaching. And that's another thing. Self-teaching, that's what we're trying to get the children to do. Want it to be so that the children are reading, you're thinking, how are they doing that? Because I haven't taught them that. Brilliant, because that's what brains are supposed to do. People talk about the fact that reading is man-made. It is, but it only works because of how the brain works. It's not as if it's man-made, so we have to teach everything to a brain because the brain is sort of doesn't understand it. That's not how brains work. And if you have to ask, with all this sort of push for synthetic phonics, which absolutely we have to have children connecting the speech sounds, whatever, the phonics is the way that people are trying to do it. But think about the fact that before mandated phonics, lots and lots of children were learning to read with no phonics at all. And we still have, the problem is we kind of swap one problem for another. The children who were struggling then are still struggling now, even with, obviously, not the child, same children because they've grown up and whatever, but the same number of children, 1 in 5, are struggling now with this mandated phonics as they were without the mandated phonics. So there's a group there who are the ones that I am really doing most of my work in life for. The 1 in 5, that's why we're screening for risk for those children at the beginning. And that's why please do this with them, because their brains will get it. So if you've got a child going into prep, going into reception, whatever else, please just start following what I do, because if you have a child that isn't at rest, that's fine. They'll read whatever. They might not read for pleasure because it might have been stripped out of them with all the phonics that they have to do. Everyone at the same time, same pace, regardless of whether they can do it or not. But you can fill that in at home if you start doing 1, 2, 3 and away. So why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this because when they've got the phonics, so they've looked at the E and they've gone end, or what have you. When they come to a word, like think of this, the child who's just got that basic code or has gone all the way through. So let's say they've gone all the way through the synthetic phonics program, end of year 1, pass the phonics screener check with flying colours. They're going to come to this and they're still going to go the ones they know. They're still going to decode with the ones they know. So they'll go g, and. Now, a lot of the children, especially if it's context, will go, oh, do you mean England? Because they'll do the big leap from, especially when we're saying we're supporting tonight, and they'll go, we're supporting England tonight. Oh, is that England? But what happens when they're decoding? They go and. So we're relying on the child to be able to go and to get to England. Because they haven't looked at this is the representation for ear. So when we map it to show the graphemes, the pictures of the sounds, that's great for the brain, but it's still not, it's going to show them where the graphemes are, but it's still not going to show them the sound value. And that's what the phonemes do. So when they look at the word in the 1 to 3 and away books, and every word shows the graphemes, but it also shows the sound, then when that sound isn't as expected, even if you brilliantly passed a phonics program and whatever else, if it isn't, it doesn't matter, because the child will follow them onto the sound, say the word and go and that's a schwa, isn't it? And England, and they go, oh, look at that, so the picture for it in this word is an E. Isn't that interesting? And they find it interesting because they could do it. So it's not well, that doesn't make sense, well, that's not fair, I can't learn that, whatever. It's not a negative, because it's we make sure they know what it is. We give them the end of the movie first. So this is quite a nice way for me to end, isn't it? So by adding the phoneme in, we're giving them the end of the movie. We're telling them what it is so that they can then go back and go, how did we get there and whatever? And we're supporting the self-teaching brain. So on that note, I am now just going to show you England, which I should have opened up earlier on. So England, I can either... Just thinking what you're looking at. I can either go to my speaky and press E, G, O, N, D. Excuse my cracked screen. So there are the sounds, the phonemes, and. So supposing they were spelling and they had no idea, they hadn't stored that word in their orthographic lexicon in their brain, and they were thinking, I just need to know how to spell England. If they can do the duck hands, they can hear the sounds. They go, and like that. Then look, they can use my speaky to press show word, and it show word, and it shows them how to spell it. And they did the sound so they know how to pronounce it. But if you're a non-speaking child, England, it would then tell them how to pronounce the word. It's also on the tech. Sorry, I'm going to have a... So when we go to check words, so supposing it was the word there, sorry, I've put lowercase. So supposing we were going to check the word, so any word the child isn't sure of, it will show them, check now. It will show them and English. Oh, it must have been that naughty speech sound frog that changed the capital letter there to the lowercase. Look at that. Naughty speech sound frog. So there you go. There's the end of the movie. That's all you've got to do. That's literally all you have to do to get your child reading and spelling. It is ridiculously simple. Ridiculously simple. And at any step of the way, just ask me if you've got a question. Let's do this. Let's get these children reading for pleasure quickly and easily. Okay, I'm going. Cup of tea time. Bye, bye from Miss Emma. Bye bye.